Hey guys, it's Simon from BluffTheSpot here, and in this video I'm going to share with you my story about how I went from a struggling NL50 player, and from the graph on screen you can see where I lost about 1.5k playing 50 NL, which was probably most of my bankroll at the time, to crushing NL500 and even higher stakes online. This video isn't going to be just about me, however. I'm hoping you guys are going to get something out of it too. So I'm going to share with you my top 3 mistakes that I made on the way, so you guys can save yourself some of the hassle. But first, let me introduce a bit about myself. And please don't be too harsh on me here, because this is my first video and talking in front of a camera. I'm a little bit nervous. So who am I? I'm a professional poker player from Melbourne, Australia. I'm a head coach for BluffTheSpot. And before this, I was working in IT as a business analyst running spreadsheets. I've been playing poker since I was about 18, where I started getting into the game, playing home games with friends, heading into the local casino to play 1-3, and from time to time trying to spin up a bit of a bankroll online playing micro stakes and free roll tournaments. The first mistake I made was trying to go about the poker journey alone. There was so much content out there online, I thought that I could do it all myself, and I was really lacking a support network that I needed to get better. One of the first major improvements I started to see was when I made a poker friend at my local cricket club. He was instrumental in helping me get better, and just chatting hand histories with him was enormous. He then recommended I join BluffTheSpot, and all of a sudden I found myself with multiple coaches helping me out, and all of a sudden a support network of other like-minded students that were in the same place that I was. One of these guys in particular, I remember we would have weekly study sessions, we'd be sending each other hand histories on Skype, and just having that constant feedback loop and support and people to chat poker with was enormous. And I think this is probably the biggest catalyst I can say for improving my game. I'd really say to everyone out there that's like in the same situation I was is, join poker forums, ask questions, post hands, and look to join something like a CFP. This is one of the best things that I had, and it instantly connects you to other like-minded poker players, and I couldn't recommend it more. The second mistake I made was probably game selection. I was not putting myself on the tables where I was the most plus EV, and I thought just because I was studying and putting time into the game that I should beat every table I sat at. This was like a massive mistake, and I was missing up on tons of value by not playing in the best games possible. Working with the coaches at BTS and working through the video library helped me identify how to quickly work out which were the losing players on the table, where the money was coming from. Because the money doesn't come from being better than the other regs, the money comes from extracting the value from the recreational players the best. All of a sudden, within an orbit or two, I was able to work out who the weak player at the table was or who wasn't. And I was able to much quickly find myself in much profitable spots online without actually having to improve my game. The third mistake I made was being too passive. And I think this is a mistake that we can all relate to at first. I wasn't raising enough hands, I was calling too much pre-flop. I wasn't being aggressive enough and putting opponents in tough spots when they were weak, and I wasn't getting the most amount of value I did with my value hands, when I really should have got the whole stack in. Working with different coaches and studying different spots really helped me identify spots where I had a range advantage and where I was uncapped and my opponents were. And it really helped me put pressure on opponents with my bluffs and blowing them off the best hand, to even getting more value with my value hands where I could use really large bet sizes and get my stacks in spots where I previously wasn't finding these. This was really, really big, and I think you can really see a big change in my my play style when I started adopting a much more aggressive play style. All of a sudden I was winning more pots, I was getting more value, and I think this is probably the biggest change I made in my game. I'd really recommend you guys putting in time to understand spots where capped ranges and uncapped ranges are at play. This is a really, complicated topic, and it's a little bit nuanced, but understanding how different cards impact different ranges and spots where you have all the best hands and they don't. And these are the spots where as a poker player, we can really leverage and be aggressive. So overall, was it a good decision for me to join BluffTheSpot? I'll have to say wholeheartedly yes. Has to be probably one of the most plus EV decisions I've made in my poker career. Before I joined BluffTheSpot, I reckon I made $1,000 playing poker online that year. After joining, I made over $100,000, and I've really set myself up with something that I can actually consider a career. I'm really excited about what I've got planned in future, from helping other students and helping people in the same way that I got when I was coming up, to producing weekly content where I'm going to be making YouTube videos for you guys where I show you tips, tricks, and things that I know that I can help you guys with your game, as well as producing weekly streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 AM Melbourne time. I really look forward to seeing you guys there and interacting with you guys in the future. But for now, that's all. Goodbye.